Son of man, I have made you a watchman. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give them warning from me. Ezekiel 33:7. In a world asleep at the wall, the space exists to sound the alarm, expose the darkness, and equip believers and seekers alike to see, speak, and stand. I'm your host, James Prosoco, Christian, husband, father, veteran, and watchman. Today's message is about the unseen reward for those who endure. Welcome to the Watchman's Call. The night has been long. The wind has howled through the cracks of the wall, carrying with it the cries of the weary and the mocking of those who no longer believe a dawn will come. The watchman has stood hour after hour gripping the trumpet with frozen hands, watching shadows move in the distance. And then the light. Not sudden light, but soft, peaceful light. That first pale streak of morning brushing against the horizon. And the watchman straightens, eyes straining against the haze. The night hasn't won after all. The light returns, slow but certain. That's the moment of reward. It's not the applause or recognition. It's simple, breathtaking revelation that dawn still comes. Every watchman who has endured the silence, the scorn, the waiting, this is the reward: to be the first to see the sun crest on the horizon, to glimpse at the promise fulfilled, and to see the fulfillment of God breaking through the darkness of man's despair. Isaiah once cried, "Watchman, what of the night?" And the answer came, morning comes, and also night. Every generation of believers has asked that same question. And the watchman's answer has never changed. Yes, the night is real, but so is the morning. Ezekiel was told his burden plainly. If I say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him no warning, that man will die in his iniquity, but his blood the Lord will require at your hand. But if you warn him, you have delivered your soul. It's one of the heaviest words in all of Scripture. We don't talk about it because nobody talks about it. You don't hear it on the pulpit. The watchman carries both the trumpet and the weight of accountability. When did we stop talking about accountability? How long has it been since you heard the word of accountability? As watchmen, we know we're accountable. We know what the task is. But what is rarely spoken, what God whispers only to the faithful few who endure, is that obedience itself is its own reward. To warn, even when people don't listen, to speak when we're mocked, and to stay awake while others sleep. This is the work of grace. When Paul neared the end of his life, chained and abandoned, he wrote these words to Timothy. He said, I have fought the good fight. I finished the race, and I kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day. And not only to me, but to all who have loved his appearing. 2 Timothy 4. This is the watchman's crown, not a crown of gold, but of faithfulness, and not fame, but fidelity. Not worldly applause, but the quiet approval of the one who says, well done, good and faithful servant. The church has always taught us that the reward of righteousness is not mere comfort, it's communion. Heaven is not a prize beside God, heaven is God. The reward is not rest from labor, but union with the one for whom the labor was done. St. Augustine wrote, the reward of virtue is the virtue itself. To love God faithfully in the night is already to share in his light. But beyond that, there's more. Beatific vision. It's a word used in the Catechism. It says it's the moment when the soul, purified by all sin, gazes upon the face of God and lives, no longer by faith but by sight, no longer by endurance but by glory. Every act of vigilance now, every unseen prayer, every lonely stand on the wall, and every tear that you have shed for truth, all of that's gathered into eternity. It's not wasted. As Peter told us, when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive an unfading crown of glory. And that crown is not given to the successful. It's given to the steadfast. Yes, history remembers the prophets as heroes, but they certainly weren't treated that way in their own time. Jeremiah was thrown into a pit. Isaiah, they sawed him in half. Elijah was fled into the wilderness, begging God to take his life. And even Ezekiel, the watchman himself, preached to a people that would not listen to him. Jesus warned us. He said, which of the prophets did your fathers not persecute? And yet every one of them fulfilled their task. In the New Testament, the watchman's line continues. John the Baptist crying out in the wilderness, Paul standing before kings, Stephen forgiven his executioners. Each one of them silenced by men, but remembered by God. And so it is today. There are watchmen whose names will never be written in books. You'll never hear their names echoed from the pulpits. All the single mothers who keep the faith alive in their home. All the first caregivers that silently whisper prayers for the dying. The priests who keep the vigil alive in an empty church. The believer who refuses to trade truth for applause. Heaven sees them, and in the courts of eternity, their watch is remembered. Every watchman knows the ache of delay. You sound the alarm and no one listens. You warn of danger and they laugh at you. You cry out in the dark and only silence. And that silence is where many of us give up. But it's in the wilderness between faith and fulfillment. But it's also a place where God forms endurance. Job, he sat in silence. Jeremiah wept in silence. And even Christ endured it on the cross when he cried, my God, why have you forsaken me? Yet in that cry, the victory was already beginning. Patience is the furnace of the watchman's soul. James wrote, be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth. James 5:7. The watchman's reward is not only what comes after endurance, it's what the endurance makes of him. In the catacombs of Rome, early Christians carved out a symbol above all others, the anchor. Why? It wasn't a decoration, it was a declaration. Because the anchor said, we're not drifting, we're waiting. And it was the mark of the watchman. We don't run from the darkness. We plant our feet and refuse to move. And in our time, the world tempts believers with spectacle. We measure success by views, followers, applause. But in heaven, I think they count that differently. Heaven counts obedience, endurance. It counts the hearts that stay awake when the world demands slumber. And you won't always see the fruit of your labor. You may never see the dawn in your lifetime. But the promise still remains. Blessed are those servants whom the master finds awake when he comes. Luke 12:37. Revelation 21 gives us the final sunrise. John writes, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. This is the moment the watchman has waited for. The wall no longer needs guarding because the city is eternal. The gates never close because there's no night. And every tear the watchman's cried in the darkness is wiped away by the hand of God. Revelation 22 seals the vision. It says, there will be no more night. They will need no light of lamp or sun, for the Lord will be their light, and they will reign forever and ever. The watchman's reward is not to escape the world, but to see it redeemed, to see the new Jerusalem shining where Babylon once stood. and to hear the trumpet no longer as a warning, but as a wedding, the call of the bridegroom for his bride. Yes, every generation has watchmen. Anthony of the Desert standing against demonic temptation in solitude. Catherine of Siena rebuking popes and pleading for reform. John Paul II standing before communist empire and declaring, "Be not afraid." And Mother Teresa walking through the slums of Calcutta saying, "Do small things with great love." Did you hear those words? Do small things with great love. These were not comfortable lives. They were costly ones. But they understood what modern faith often forgets, that vigilance and reward are two sides of the same cross. Even now, unseen watchmen keep the faith. Missionaries in hostile lands, underground priests in China, families who pray together in a culture that mocks faith. They won't be remembered in history, but heaven knows their names. So our age needs watchmen more than ever. The walls are cracking, and truth is despised today. Children are catechized by screens instead of scripture. The sacred is mocked, the holy profaned, and the church herself tempted to compromise. But the call still remains. Stay awake, sound the trumpet, and stand your post. Yes, today, to be a watchman today means you'll be misunderstood, labeled, and possibly dismissed. But Jesus Christ was all of those things. He stood awake while everybody slept, and he still does through every believer who refuses to let the light die. So when the dawn breaks over eternity, the watchman will see the truth. Every hour of endurance mattered. Every warning sounded in faith was worth it. Every lonely vigil was a line in the story of redemption, and they will hear the voice that silences every doubt when they hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of the Lord." Matthew 25:21. This is the watchman's reward, to see Christ's face and know nothing was in vain. So now, to every listener who has walked this journey, hear the call this last time. Awaken, church, shepherds, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, watchers in the night. The dawn is coming. The night is near, and the trumpet is in your hands. Stand your post. Guard the truth. Because silence is not mercy, it's betrayal. The one who called you knows your name, and he will not forget those who stayed awake. The trumpet will sound again, not as a warning, but as victory. The wall will shine with the light of the Lamb, and every watchman who endured the night will see the dawn of face to face. This is the watchman's call. And you, brother and sister, soldier and saint, you are not alone on the wall. Thank you for standing the watch with me. Each episode of the Watchman's Task has been more than a message. It's been a call to open the eyes of deception and to hold the line when others fall asleep, and to guard what is sacred in the world that trades truth for comfort. So if you've listened this far, you've already stepped into the task of a watchman, to see, speak, and stand. The mission doesn't end with this episode. It begins each morning, wherever God has placed you. Until the next call, keep your heart anchored in your truth, your spirit awake, and your lamp burning through the night. In our next chapter, we'll begin a new journey, the remnant, the story of those who remain when the world turns away. Those who carry the light forward through the persecution, confusion, and silence, and still whisper the words, "The Lord is coming." If you stood the watch through us with the Watchman's Task, we invite you to stand with us again. Support the Watchman's Call by following us on Patreon, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Podcasts, and YouTube. For those of you who wish to go deeper, our upcoming Bible study series and our 30-day devotional, The Watchman's Circle, will be available through Patreon. You can find everything at patreon.com/The Watchman's Call. This is episode 6, The Watchman's Reward. Thank you for listening, and God bless.